Hi, now I recently made a film about the Nikon Z8 and its auto capture feature, which I started off in this location trying to photograph a water rail. Well, I've carried on with the water rail. I didn't succeed with the Nikon Z8 primarily because I haven't got a wide angle lens, which is what it really required. So eventually I had to get a hide up down in this location, but it's very tight. It's a very awkward spot. It's in a thorn bush. It's all really overgrown. The land doesn't get maintained anymore. It's just allowed to go wild, and it's just all reed bed. There's not much open water anymore, and thorn bushes all the way around the outskirts of this island. So it's not the best place photographically. There is a much better lake where I've done water rail previously, but that's dried out completely in this summer. There's not a drop of water in it. Now, we actually have had some rain recently, and I haven't been down to check it. Maybe it's starting to top up, and eventually I'll move this project over to that lake because it's far more photogenic. Now, when I started this project, I couldn't get a hide in on that water rail. There's no space. It's in the middle of a thorn bush. So I got some cutters and a saw, and I've cut a channel along the edge of the water through the thorns. And at the end of that channel, I can get a hide. So I've done that. I've turned up with my beauty hide and I've sat there. No water rail has come in, and now I'm very surprised because water rails are normally confiding. They're not bothered by hides. They'll accept them immediately. You put one up, but it didn't come in, and maybe I was just unlucky. It wasn't there that day. It wasn't bothered by the hide. I was just being unlucky. I don't know, but I've decided I want to leave a hide there. And the problem is, this is a bit of a public place now. It used to be a very private lake. This is where we did the kingfisher for several years. Nobody came here apart from the gamekeeper and the shooting people. There's no shooting anymore. It's all finished, and they've opened the land up to the public. But it's quite a walk in from the car where people can park, so you don't get too many people here. Maybe 3 or 4 people a day walk around this lake, dog walkers mostly. So, and they can't see the hide. It's tucked in along the channel, so I'm going to leave a hide out overnight, and if I leave it there for a couple of days, make sure the water rail's got used to it, and then I'll have another go. But I'm not going to leave my best hide out. I'm going to put up one of my very old tatty hides, and it's very simple. It's just 4 upright aluminium poles like this and 4 cross pieces like this. So this goes in the ground, and then these, which are bent at the end, you just put into the top of the pole, and there's room in there for 2 of them. So we get 2 of the cross pieces like that. And then you get all 4 sides in, and you've got your framework in place for a hide. It's not expensive to set up, just a question of finding the aluminium poles. In fact, a very well-known photographer in his day, Mike Wilkes, he lent me these poles about 40 years ago. I used to rate Mike as the best wildlife photographer in the UK for at least a decade. He was very influential. If he sees this film, he might be asking for them back, I suppose. Anyway, he only gave me the poles, he didn't give me the canvas. So this is a cover I made up myself, and that just so there it is. It's very simple, not a lot of value here. If this got stolen, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I wouldn't leave one of my buteo hides up in this location. It's too exposed, even though people can't see it. As they walk past, it's tucked into the thorn bush, but if it was stolen, not the end of the world. The material is very rotten. It's so weak now I could actually push my finger through this material, and it's certainly not waterproof, but it will let the water rail get used to it. So the hide's in position. It can't be seen from the track, so someone's got to walk down to where the camera is before they can see it. There's a water rail calling there, very loud. Every time I feed it, I call to it. So I say, come on, come on, come on. I used to whistle, but I can't whistle anymore. You're just letting the bird know you're there, and it very quickly starts to associate you calling it with food arriving. So it just speeds the process up. Once you get in the hide, you don't have to wait so long. I decided to put a log running down from the bank into the water because I know that water rails will very readily climb onto whatever is there, and that just might give me a different shot. I'm using the dried mealworms. You can buy these from pet food shops or garden centres, probably even supermarkets as well. And at one point I left a trail camera out. Now I've done a review of this trail camera. I'll leave a link to that in the description underneath the video. I like it because the image quality is higher than any other trail camera I've used, but also because it neither false triggers, i.e. starts to run when it shouldn't, nor does it miss things either. It's reliable. So the trail camera showed me I did indeed have water rails coming in. And not just one water rail, but two. And the odd moorhen. Now moorhens are going to be the dominant bird, they will push the water rail away, but a wild moorhen is a very nervous bird, nothing like the city birds we get. What did surprise me is they were still feeding after dark. That's something I didn't know about water rails and moorhens. You can see the camera triggers even by a very small mouse in the picture. And I also got some mink, the American mink, a major pest species. But eventually I did start to get some video of the water rail. All taken with the OM-1 Mark II, the 150 to 400mm lens. It's not the most attractive sight for water rail. I really do need to move it to the other lake when it starts to fill up with water. It's also a sight that's much better to do on an overcast day. When the sun was shining, as it is here, you can see that shaft of light hitting the back of the bird's head. Now that would really spoil a stills picture. Doesn't make so much difference with video, but I would still prefer it to be overcast. We'll look at a few stills pictures. The other thing I tried to get the wide angle shots that I got in my mind was to use the DJI Action 4. So I just put this on some little tripod legs onto the ground, and when the water rail came in, I can stop and start the camera from my mobile phone, and I can see the image I'm getting in my mobile phone. The downside to these, it's a very wide angle lens. It only really works with larger creatures, so a goose and upwards is okay. Smaller creatures, in order to be big enough in the frame, they come within the minimum focus distance, so they're out of focus. So this is taken with the DJI Action 4, and I tried something I'd never done with the camera before. It has a magnification factor of ×2, so it's not such a wide angle lens. But I was very disappointed with the quality. Since I've not used it before, I'm not absolutely certain it's because I've got the ×2 magnification in place. That's something I'll have to test. But I've used this camera a lot for self-filming. When I'm talking to camera, it is one of the cameras I use for it, and the quality is very good. But it's not here. Very poor quality. So I thought I'd try the same thing with my OM-1 Mark II camera, which also has an app you can install on your mobile, and again you can see the image that you're taking through the mobile phone, and you can change all the settings. But I've used this app before and been very disappointed with it. So I'm using the OM app to take the pictures. On my mobile phone here I can press the button, start to take the pictures whenever I'm ready, and I can see the image. It's like I'm looking through the viewfinder here. As ever, when I've tried using this app, it's not very reliable. It's far from stable. So first of all, there's quite a delay in the image. So when you're composing the picture, you're tilting the camera up to change your composition. You can't see through the viewfinder when you're connected to the phone, so you have to have the phone with you And as you tilt the camera up, sometimes it's like a 2-second delay before the image in the phone moves. Sometimes it's a quarter of a second, sometimes 2 seconds. That makes it fiddly for composing your picture. Now I'm in the hide, and because I know I'm going to have a problem, I'm only 3 meters away from the camera, trying to get a stronger signal. And let's say after I've sat here for 10 minutes, the camera must disconnect, because I'm still looking at the image now, but when the bird appears and comes into the shot, I can see it through the hide. It's not there, it's not in the image, because the image at some point has frozen. So now I've got to disconnect and reconnect again, and that takes 2 or 3 minutes, by which time the bird is gone. I've never found it to be a very stable app at all. And you could say, is it the phone that's the problem, or is it the camera, or the app? Well, all I know is if I connect this to other devices, such as my DJI Action 4, that's very reliable, and it connects to my phone connection in the car, very reliable, and other things too. So I'm blaming the app or the camera, one of the two. After several hours in the hide, this was the only picture I got using the app, mostly because it kept disconnecting, but also because of that delay. You can see here the water rail's almost out of the picture, although I pressed the button just as it was entering the picture. Thanks for watching.